man, dead bodies, right? For most people, they're all like, ew. But then, for other people, they're all like, fuck yeah, I could use quite a bit more of that. You know, if you're just gonna, like, give them away. I mean, at this point, it feels like it would just be rude not to accept. Then, there's the much more severe version of that latter group. The group, by the way, that seems to number, like, a whole lot fucking higher than you might want to believe it would. The group that won't only take roast dead old Nana off your hands, but says that her brain stuffs will totally, like, really, for reals. Promise. Go to the Alzheimer's Research Institute. Just like Nana always said she wanted. She said it fucking constantly. Come to think of it, it was probably because of all that Alzheimer's. This subsect will drag her into the back room of a nondescript red brick building with a caring smile. A smile that, seems like it's tailor-made to make the grandkids finally understand that Nana has a bigger purpose than just making bland cookies and tenderly kissing their countless little boo-boos. Maybe, just maybe, with this healthy experience, they can finally start to feel the comfort of normalcy again. Then, as soon as the tearful goodbyes leave the door and the parking lot, and hopefully the state, up starts the rusty old chainsaw. Ready and raring to taste Nana's flesh. Ready to just part her out to the highest bidder. For, really, I guess, whatever purpose they want. Most likely not Alzheimer's research, though, I would imagine.
Wow, why? I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something you said. I just died in your arms tonight. I keep on looking for something I can't get. Broken hearts lie all around me, and I don't see an easy way to get out.
Since we've visited, and I, for one, would like to apologize for James having caused all those problems. Every single tiny little bit of it was James Conan's fault.
Hey, that is not true.
That even if he says that it's not true, it's totally true. And that he did it just to try to throw his weight around, be the new guy, trying to find a niche. And I tell you what, you did it, James. You did it. Your niche is, holy shit.
What about
like
Mr. DMV over here?
2.5 weeks later, some shit like that. It wasn't all necessarily James's fault.
But that was a big part of it.
It was a big part of it. I also have bought a new vehicle that I have been spending far too much time getting safe enough for a baby to be in the back seat of. And Chris was home and ready to record, all nice and quiet, no background noise, no Uncle Mike roaming around scratching his nuts all loud and shit. And I think I can honestly say that James and I dropped the ball big time on this one. But
yeah,
I am tired of every single episode having an apology for being late at the beginning of it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop apologizing now, and I will go ahead and say, hey, maybe we should be like a once every 2 week show, because then we'll definitely because then we'd just like be a month late and shit like that. Let's just try to keep it weekly, and if that doesn't happen, we'll play it by ear. But I will tell you something that is cool about this evening in particular, and that is that this is young James Conan's very first episode topic. and I'm kind of freaking out a little bit because I've been having to do them for so long that I feel like I'm forgetting something, which would normally be my research, which I don't have because it's not my fucking episode tonight. And I'm gonna have to figure out like what to do with my hands and stuff while we record. I have some stuff I can fiddle with, I guess. But welcome, everyone. Welcome everyone out there in the world of giving a shit about whatever the shit we're doing for some reason, to another wonderfully James-ish episode of See No, Hear No, Speak No.
Indeed, the UFOs, the conspiracies, and the murders. Wouldn't it be wonderful-ish, James-esque?
Huh?
What?
Well,
What?
we don't really know yet how wonderful, so...
Right. It's it could be a
listen,
complete disaster. Yeah.
I trust in my research and my notes. I like this topic. I think it's interesting. I just don't know about the length of the episode.
Well,
That's my only
it's
worry.
not the length that matters, James. It's the content
how you use
within. It's the content within and
that's
how
right.
how you choose to deliver it to every awaiting ear hole, just aching for some
I like
possibly.
that revamp.
Yeah, no, I dig it, and
It works
but,
for me.
You know, we can't bitch at James for not having timing if every single time we don't know if you're gonna say something after your part.
Yeah.
Sorry, kids.
Because that
So
seems.
y'all ready?
I'm ready. Chris is ready. The baby's bottle
believe
is now
so.
now cleaned and ready, and
Kitty cat on my lap.
and we're good to go. We're good to go.
All right. Well, with that, I want to talk about a little place. It's a little place in Phoenix, Arizona, called the Biological Resource Center, the BRC. We're going to be talking about this place today because it is a body donation center.
Man, I've always
did
wanted one
not-
of those.
A body donation center or a body?
No, a brain. That's what I was
Ew.
thinking. I was thinking a brain. Never mind. Continue, please. Continue.
Okay. Well, so the BRC. The
What was
BRC was started. But yeah, what was that?
I heard the tune in my head as he said
he was.
he wanted a brain. I was
Yeah.
like, "Do-do-do-do-do."
Okay, he was doing the Scarecrow song. I just heard a crazy high pitched whistle.
I just heard a beautiful bird singing to me.
Aw.
Thank you. Now continue
So
about your
the BRC.
BRB or
Yes,
No, the
PHB
BRC
or
was
DMT
open.
or whatever it is.
The
Chris, let him talk.
BBC was opened in BR the B
The BBC?
That's
the-
right.
Which
the
BBC?
big-
The one that's in the B.
We know you're nasty, but let's keep this episode at least NC-17, sir.
Fuck that garbage, you cunt.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Juco episode. So, the BRC was opened up in 2004 and operated until 2014. It was in Phoenix, Arizona, and consisted of a single 9,000 square foot warehouse.
Jesus, that's a big ass warehouse.
Not warehouse, a building. I'm sorry.
I mean,
Sorry,
still
just a building.
a 9,000.
Yeah,
square
no,
foot
it's
is-
big.
That's a lot of.
It's
that's
big.
a lot of oddly shaped feet.
Yeah. So,
That
the
too.
center was, as I said, a body donation place where, when you die and you want to donate your body to science, you donate it to one of these places. They kind of middleman it and send it off to the appropriate channels, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, that in the in a perfect world, that's how that would work.
Yeah, as we shall see. The center was opened in 2004 by a Mr. Stephen Gore. At this time, Stephen Gore had no previous medical training or experience, and had just come off of working as an insurance agent in Florida.
So he was just he
Amazing
was
what
just
you
some
can do with a little bit of capital, huh?
he was
Yeah,
just some
dude, he was just like, well, I'm tired of. Yeah, no, dude, he was just some dude working as an insurance agent. He calls you and asks if you're satisfied with your car insurance.
Wow.
And then he decided one day, I'm going to open up a place that handles dead body donation.
I mean, I've made that decision before. That doesn't mean I get to do it.
I didn't actually do it. Oh my god.
Hey, I mean, as far as the government's concerned, as long as you pay, your fees and the permits and shit and do all your proper paperwork, and they say it's cool, if they give the green light, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
See, it's all that pay
Sometimes you
nonsense.
can get them to pay for you to do whatever the fuck you want.
Mm,
You just gotta pitch it right.
that's
Well,
right.
for this especially, just like this type of business, like dealing with dead bodies, it's very unregulated. Like, there is not many, groups and agents that check in on these types
Right.
of places on a regular basis.
And
it's
I-
very unregulated on
I
a
would
whole.
I would theorize that that's because you're not technically dealing with people anymore, kind of thing. Like, you don't have to worry about
Exactly.
the health of the patient, so they don't have to have any kind of person to oversee to make sure that they're being treated well. But at the same
Yeah,
time,
exactly.
people are terrible, and dead people are gross, and terrible people with access to gross dead people could be a recipe for a beautiful friendship.
Yeah, and this is
amongst
supposed
other
to be a good
things.
place.
What
Right,
was
this
that?
is a place.
No, go ahead.
What was that?
Nothing.
Okay. So this is supposed to be a good place. You after you die, you arrange to have your body sent here for research on things like Alzheimer's and
Right, so
cancer,
it's like
AIDS, etc.
it's a totally altruistic thing, or supposed to be, where you're like, I'm gonna help humanity with, I'm gone and dead. You can have my eyes and my butthole, because that's what fleshlights are made out of. By the way, guys, is dead guys' buttholes. Just throwing that out there. Didn't know if you knew.
I know something else
Oh,
I'm throwing out tonight.
Nice.
It
I
is- it
sense
is
the rosiest
trash
of
tonight, yeah.
stories coming about.
Do you? I never wanted to own anything that I needed to fuck and then put in the dishwasher, Chris.
No, I wasn't
Chris has
talking
no
about the
need for a
fleshlight. I'm still
fleshlight.
talking about
He's
the
got
dead
Uncle Mike.
bodies.
Oh.
Oh, that's yucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
He smells funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please continue, James. That's the thing, buddy. James, is that you'll have to get used to. You should have listened to a couple of Robert episodes before tonight, because when Chris and I don't have to read stuff, Chris and I can really spend time latching on to what you say, and then and then just go off track pretty quick with it. So we'll do our best.
That's
to,
fine. No, you're
to
helping
rein
me.
ourselves
You're
in.
helping me drag out this episode a little bit so it doesn't fall too short.
That's right. That's
King of the
that's
fucking
what
jungle, baby.
That's what the Rob episodes were all about. Was Rob would have like 5 paragraphs of notes, and Chris and I would just because we're Chris and I would bullshit quite well through the rest. This needs no explanation for the listener. I just wanted to tell you real quick. So continue, please.
I've been told I'm pretty good at filling stuff up.
That is a lie, and you know it.
Oh.
Unless you're talking about
Anyway.
those delicious glazed donuts that you brought over last time when you were here. That it was a weird taste to the glaze, but you know what? They were still creamy and beautiful and wonderfully delicious.
Well, our good
You know what else
listeners
is
know
wonderfully
how I love to
delicious?
glaze over things.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and our even better listeners will know how you love to talk over people too.
Sorry about that.
I'll wait.
Apologies.
It's fine.
No,
it's
no,
fine.
it's
I'll
your
wait.
turn now.
Are you
Totally
done?
your turn.
Are you done? Okay.
Officially.
So,
Allegedly.
anyway, coming off of cancer, Alzheimer's, stuff like that, that is exactly why a man named Jim Stauffer contacted the BRC after his mother passed away from Alzheimer's disease. He donated her body to the center in the hopes that she could be used for research into Alzheimer's, and hopefully eventually treatment and cures can be made. And he was assured by the BRC that her body would be used for such research. And I'm looking at a picture of her right now, and I gotta say, adorable old lady. I'm sure Mr. Jim misses her.
Wow, man, you just had to bring it into the real world for us. Now I'm gonna feel bad when I make fun of the old lady.
Listen, I'm staring into this old lady's eyes right now. This is a real person, and I'm looking at her picture.
Are you trying not to ejaculate? Is that why you're staring at an old lady's picture?
Just keep it down, keep it down.
Try
That's right.
harder. You have an episode to do, sir.
Sorry, I'm sure she was a wonderful lady.
Listen, I'm a little excited by this topic.
Okay, good.
But in addition to just Jim, there was also another guy, Troy Harp, who donated his mother and grandmother during 2012 and then subsequently 2013.
Oh shit!
As well as hundreds of other people, but those are just two of them.
Wow.
Hundreds of other people have used this facility to donate hundreds of bodies and hundreds of family members for the cause of finding treatments and cures for these terrible diseases that we do not have treatments and cures for.
Indeed. See, and this is the way it should be done, and not the way that Unit 731 did it, as we spoke about on the last episode, which they did it to people that could still feel being done these things to. And we won't revisit it because I'm already having a kind of shitty week. So I just like to say that good on you, 21st century. Let's keep at it. Let's keep.
But I mean, you say that, but not so good 21st century. Because
no, don't ruin it.
2014.
Don't ruin it. No, fuzzy
I'm
feelings.
ruining it. I'm gonna ruin it. I'm gonna ruin it.
Goddamn millennials always ruining everything.
Because in 2014, the BRC was raided by the FBI wearing hazmat suits.
Wow.
So
already
this raid was conducted because apparently BRC was not using these bodies as they should have. Because during that raid, FBI agents found 10 tons of frozen human remains.
Ooh, well,
comprised of...
At least they were frozen. That could be worse.
Yeah, no, they could be bacon, you're true. I'm glad these are frozen because these 10 tons of human remains comprised of 1,755 total body parts, including 281 heads, 241 shoulders, 337 legs, and 97 spines.
Man, that is a gross... That is a gross motherfucking Voltron right there.
And these were all held in it gets better. It gets better, guys. Let's see. Okay, I'll get to that. So yeah, no, the bodies were not being used by the donation center to ship off and be used for research. They were instead, it turns out, a middleman for body brokering, and the BRC was actually selling the human remains, and they were
Okay, what happened? Okay.
Oh, Raggy.
Go for it. I'm leaving all of this in. Go ahead.
Alright. So what was I saying?
You were saying that all of the bodies that they found in there weren't actually going to the donation places where they were supposed to be donated to, that they were putting on very elaborate marionette shows.
So I didn't say that last part, but we'll get to it.
That was just what I was kind of hoping was going to happen.
No, we'll get to it. So yeah, no, they were not. They were not using these bodies for good. The people that donated these bodies, uh, uh, they
Were
told me to find
apparently
my spot
being
again.
systematically dismembered.
Yeah, they told me to find my spot.
Wait, okay, so the people that were donating these bodies were the bodies themselves when they were alive, correct? It wasn't just like, hey, I got like a 6-pack of dead old ladies in the trunk.
Yeah, well,
just
I mean,
seeing if you could use them.
Yeah, technically, the people have it in their will that they want to be donated, their body donated for science.
Right.
But I mean, somebody still alive has to arrange for them to get to the BRC, for the BRC to arrange for them to get to somewhere else.
Gotcha. And I don't know if you know the answer to this or not, but like, was the BRC the only game in town kind of thing, or like did people have a choice to? Okay, go for it.
Yeah. Well, as far as like other body donation centers in the area, I don't know.
Okay, gotcha.
As far as this type of facility, we'll get to it.
Gotcha.
So, agents who raided the facility, as they're walking through, they noticed body fluids were piling onto the floors and the floors of the freezers and in the bins that some of them were held in. They also noticed chainsaws and hacksaws were being used to dismember the bodies. Yes, chainsaws. Yes. Chainsaws and hacksaws were being used to dismember these bodies. Now, I know what you're thinking.
Wow.
James, these aren't medical licensed equipment. This can't be legit. And it's not.
I mean, I was thinking that. I wasn't technically thinking James, so on and so forth. But I was like, hey, that sounds like it'd be hard to sterilize after the first use.
Oh, I don't think anything was ever sterilized, honestly.
Ooh. They didn't even wash their hands when they went to the bathroom, I heard.
And I heard.
Yeah, they're dead anyway.
I heard. I heard. Yeah.
he's learning. If you don't got nothing, just move on and act like it never happened.
Whatever works, right?
Yeah. It was not pretty in there, in this place. Bodies
I
were
imagine.
not just neatly packed away in freezers. They were also stacked up in unmarked bins and also freezers. They were sorted by arms, legs, heads, torsos, and there was also an entire freezer of male genitalia. None of which were marked, numbered, labeled, tagged. Yes. There's an entire freezer dedicated
Holy bejesus
solely
on a cracker.
to dick.
Okay.
Just a bunch of dismembered dicks.
That is, I guarantee you, just for laughs. Like, you invite the mailman in and be like, hey, why don't you go grab me a beer?
It's in that freezer to the left. Just reach on in there.
He opens it up. He's like, yeah, there just seems to be a bunch of dicks in here. And then everybody that works there is just rolling on the floor, just laughing and just soaking up all the bodily fluids that are there from people that wanted their bodies to make the world a better place. And I'm sad now.
And then they kill him because now he has seen way too much.
Mm-hmm. Or
I'm
not enough.
wondering more about the interview process for working at this joint. How do
these
you
guys
keep an employee?
They had to just
every
be
morning.
drinking buddies that were like, hey, you know what we should do?
Yeah, no. I was thinking
No?
that. Like, how do they have so many people? It doesn't list how many people were employed there or anything. I couldn't find information like that. But I mean, how did they
it sounds
get
like it was
any
just like
number
the
of
main
people?
3 or some shit.
What? Like there's just 3 people
Right?
working there?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I said that, and then I realized the other 2 guy names that you said were the loved ones of deceased people.
Those were unfortunate victims.
So we only really know about the corpse guy.
Stephen Gore.
Yeah.
He's
Stephen
the only
Dorr.
Gore.
Well-
Door with a D?
No, Gore, as in like what this place
Gore?
is filled with. Yes, Gore. This guy's legitimately named Gore, and
Wow.
this is about
Sometimes
him.
Sometimes the universe is like, hey, I'm gonna help you out with this.
Yeah, sometimes
know?
you just know what you're born to do, you know?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you feel like a nut. And other times you don't so much feel like a nut.
And sometimes you cut off a nut and put it in a freezer.
Ooh, bait and tackle.
What the effing shit?
Yeah.
Monkeys and motherfucking peewees.
Well,
on ice.
you think that's bad, and it definitely is.
I do
it
think that's
definitely
bad.
is. No, it definitely is. But among that was also what agents that raided the place described as a quote-unquote morbid joke and a Frankenstein-type creation, and it was the head of a small female woman sewn onto the body of a large obese man. And
Oh, Jesus.
yeah, yeah.
Fat
God
bottom
damn.
girls, you make the rockin' world go round. Get it? Get it?
That
Because
is just the
'cause
stuff
it was
nightmares
Yeah.
are made of.
Yeah.
no. That's what little lady heads on big fat dude bodies are made of.
Because they're
Chris.
fat bottom girls. I get it.
Mm.
I got it. I got it.
Get on your bikes and ride.
Gross.
Hey guys.
Man, that is that. Like I'm kind of joking about this as to not really think about it too much, but holy shit, that is horrifying.
Yeah.
Yes, they were dead, but the people in there had so little fuck to give that they were like, hey, you know what would be funny is if we cut that one's head off and like sewed it onto that big fat dude, right? And then the other guy was like, all right, I'll go grab the chainsaw.
Dude, pretty much. And just like
That's
imagine
fucking
being
awful.
one of these agents clearing out this place and seeing all of this. Like being the
how-
first outside
Fuck
person to
that.
see this. Because there's no footage or pictures or anything that I could find, at least, of the crime scene, you know? Like of the actual facility, just an outside view on Google Maps, and it looks like a regular brick office building, honestly.
Jesus, and like, is it in a secluded place or did it have
Nope,
like?
it is.
It's like a.
It's like if you're just rolling down Transcontinental and look at a random building
Wow.
on the side of the road. It's just out there.
So, I just imagine the neighbors being like, they were doing what in there? Wait, a fridge full of huh?
What?
Dude, y'all wouldn't imagine some of the places I see. And you see trucks outside of too.
Well, I know
getting
terrible
loaded
things
or
are happening.
unloaded.
Yeah.
Like there are some interestingly sketchy fucking places out in this country,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, no, shit like that will never not surprise me. But like, goddamn, how many people do you have to talk into this? And what kind of charisma do you have to talk people
Dude,
into
and this
this?
place ran
And,
for
like,
10 years.
Is it making money somehow,
Yeah,
or
for
what the
10
fuck is
years.
going on?
You
Yeah,
wanna,
they're
you wanna
they're
know about
selling
the money?
the bodies.
You
Yeah.
want to hear about the money?
Yes, please.
Alright, so
Of course.
body parts were being sold to a few different buyers. A torso with a head sold for $2,400. A leg ran you about $1,100. The company also sold lone knees
Fucking
and
what?
feet for under $500 each, and a whole body, an entire human body, sold for about $6,000.
Hey man, that's a deal, really, when you consider like
Yeah.
what you would
Jesus
have to do to like
Christ.
to put one together yourself. You know, if you just pay a little extra, you know, it's
You get a
it'll work
full
out in
thing-
the long run
full
where you're
thing
saving
pre-built.
money. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
exactly.
so I get it, and these numbers are kind of making me want to sell body parts.
Yeah, it makes you want to
things.
get in the business, dude. I'm in the wrong business after reading this, man. Like, this guy was loaded.
Well, see, people in the business actually call it the biz. I just want, keying you into that before,
thank
so you don't look like a fool
Thank-
when you call it the business.
Honestly, I'm not even in the biz yet, and I already feel like a fool.
Yeah.
You know what?
I mean, that's
I'm just
that's
gonna abandon.
Perfectly
I'm just
understandable.
gonna abandon this idea. I'm not cut out for it.
Yeah, me either.
I am
Let's-
110% disgusted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is just awful on so many levels.
And
It's grossness.
I'm a little stunned. Like I've researched this episode and wrote all of this, but it still always stuns me. Like, no, this is like insane. Like, this is egregious that they did this.
Like, how did he think he could get away with it?
I'll tell you how.
I mean,
Because he dealt,
I guess he did get away with it for 10 fucking years, so...
And he dealt with some powerful people. Because among the different buyers that he had was the Department of Defense.
Macho Man Randy Savage. The most powerful person that's ever been.
Exactly. How did you know?
Ooh,
if
yeah.
if Macho Man Randy Savage's name was the Department of Defense, you would be right.
And oh my God, you just called him Macho Mandy.
What?
You just called him Macho Mandy, and I really want to see the female version.
Macho Mandy.
I want to see the female version of Macho Man Randy Savage, who is Macho Mandy, Woman Savage.
You're calling out Macho Man and the DOD in one fucking sentence.
Yeah, man.
That's right. James says, "Bring it on." Dead guy and Department of Justice.
You know what? I got something else to say too. Bring it on, another one of the buyers, the United States Army. Bring it on, United States Army, Department of Defense buyers from the BRC. Bring it on. I'm ready.
I'm gonna say that the views of James Conan do not, in any way, reflect the views of Jason Rambo and Chris Barrios. Well, maybe a little bit with Chris Barrios. Maybe give him a call.
Come on, United States Army.
Jason,
what you got?
Jason,
what you got, Army? What you got,
Jason
Army?
Is just here for satire and silliness. Hi, Army.
Yeah, we're all just pulling
we
legs
love
here.
You.
Pulling legs, pulling
You're terrifying.
heads off of bodies.
You're terrifying. Putting them on fat guys, you know?
All right,
that's what we do.
Right. No, I'm enjoying this as well. This is.
I got a tiny woman head.
So, you want to hear what these bodies were used for by the Department of Defense and the United States Army?
I can't do it. Y'all are
I missed you.
awful.
I missed you guys. What's up, James? What happened? Did you hit your space bar again? How much do you have? Because holy shit, I've really enjoyed this so far. Okay. Good. Yeah. I'm guessing a lot of the same things that Unit 731 used them for.
Well, I still haven't listened to the episode, but if they were used as crash test dummies, explosive testing subjects, or for military dart training...
military dart training?
Unit 731.
What?
Dog.
Oh, dog.
God, I keep stumbling over my words.
Really?
I don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm drunk.
So
I'm drunk and I haven't touched a sip of drink.
So they were training attack dog type dogs or with cadavers?
So different things.
Makes sense to me, I guess.
Like what's usually the type of test that would be performed. It wasn't confirmed for this case, but usually it's things like either attack dogs to attack the cadavers, things like searching missions, like training the dog to search for dead bodies.
Okay, right. See, that's nice.
Things like that.
And I would think that the military would have to get.
It's nice if you.
But how much did they technically know about this place? Did they know that this place was shady as fuck and full of just the grossest, weirdest? Or did they think they were dealing with a reputable place that was cool to buy bodies from? And I fear I already know the answer because the American government, but you never know.
So, just sticking to what I know in the facts, I believe they thought they were dealing with the legitimate business.
Okay.
Because the people that donate their deceased loved ones' bodies to the center for, medical research get a consent form.
Mm-hmm.
And on that consent form is, all the diseases you would expect from donating your body, as well as all these military applications.
Okay.
And the people check mark and X out what they do and don't want.
Ah.
But during the raid and, their different files and stuff, the FBI did also find out redacted, like heavily redacted consent forms from the people. So I just want to say, from the facts, it seems like, yeah, they were misleading the Department of Defense, United States Army.
Right.
I don't know if they were willingly
Wow.
dealing with illegal body trade, but it doesn't look like it from this.
Well, I'm guessing if no one went down, not even like a Patsy Fall Guy type situation, then I'm guessing that they assumed it was on the up and up, and even if they had reason to not totally believe it, I think that maybe they were like, no, it's cool, right? Like, we shouldn't look in that folder that he left on the desk, Jesus.
That is bold as hell.
Yeah, like I think in this case, I don't think they were being malicious, but you never know with our stuff going on. Oh, hey, but also one part I left out. One man's grandmother was actually strapped to a chair on top of a platform with an explosive underneath to test the effects of IED blast in the battlefield. So,
wow. I mean,
I thought that was a little funny.
I almost expected
It's
you
terrible,
to say that she had like a rocket strapped to her to see like, to test
oh, that would have been way better.
G forces or something.
That would have been way better. I'm just, dude, it's so messed up.
Bad.
But I'm imagining like a rag doll. I'm imagining like a rag doll strapped to a chair, and it just gets like blasted off like some kind of jackass.
And then what'll bring it right into the real world for you is imagine it's your grandmother.
Yeah, no. I was thinking about that too, dude. I was like, Jesus Christ. What if this was my Grammy?
Then
what if this was my sweet old Grammy? I couldn't take that in my heart.
Well, I mean, in my ideologies and views, it's nothing. It's no one. It's a sack of meat sitting there that just kind of resembles who it used to be, because that person is no longer there because they're dead. So I still think.
I mean, listen, that's technically true.
I still think that proper
that sack
channels.
Of meat has also been in your life for the past few decades, and like you've grown with you, and had hands in raising you and stuff. So it's like,
but
it is a pile of bones and meat, but it holds something.
But I'd still be cool with any of these things happening, except for the shit that they were doing in that fucking 9,000 square foot brick building. Because that is just...
Yeah, if they like found out that they sewed your grandmother's head onto like a toddler's body.
See,
or
that
something.
I would find a way to chop his head off and sew it onto like a banana or something, and be like, haha, look at you now, you son of a bitch, you're a fucking banana.
Banana head, you stupid banana head. Look at you, your head on a banana.
Going bananas.
That's what I'd say to him.
Bananas.
Wow.
I'm just thinking about the poor soldiers that gotta clean that shit up.
Yeah, because
yeah, no, it's a dude.
But those
like
are the slow
body
guys.
Fluids all over the place.
Those are the Gomer piles of the
those
of
guys
the army.
that didn't make the cut as
That's
agents.
right. You just tell them it's a pig's body or some shit, and they'll be fine.
The BRC was also selling to individuals, and this is a little long-winded, but I'm gonna run through this a little quick.
Go for it.
So authorities linked the BRC to former Detroit mortician Arthur Rathburn, who was one of Gore's buyers. U.S. Customs agents caught Rathburn at the U.S.-Canadian border secretly carrying 10 human heads.
What? Wait, so the movie 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag is not only based on real life, but they could have fit 2 more fucking heads into that duffel bag?
That's what I gathered from it.
It's an old Danny DeVito movie. You should watch it. It's actually really good. But
oh, it's Danny DeVito. You know I'm all in.
It's fucking Joe Pesci.
You know what? They're interchangeable in the 80s. It's fine.
Oh, is it Joe Pesci? I care a little less about that.
Come on, man. He's your cousin Vinny.
But that's true, though. But yeah, dude, 10 human heads he was carrying across the U.S.-Canadian border.
What in the fuck
one
for?
of the heads.
Yeah, that's. I was gonna say,
Wait,
and
wait,
his
get this,
reason.
get this. Um.
I mean, that's.
It's
I mean,
very strange, dude. It's
that's
very
as
strange.
good a reason as any, I suppose. I don't know. I just wanted to see if I
Just
could maybe
'cause,
do
you
it.
know?
You know,
Like
Yeah,
I
I
said,
just wanted to see if I could do it, you know?
with the proper paperwork and permits and everything, everybody paid who wants to get paid. You can do weird shit like that as long as you have a legal reason to do it.
Mhm.
But clearly, that's not what was going on here. So, the fuck was his reason for doing this? I wonder.
I'm gonna.
Well,
I'm gonna chalk. I'm
he-
gonna chalk it up to YOLO. Mm-hmm.
Well, so there
Jesus.
is actually a reason. He did a few things, but I do want to say, out of the 10 heads, 1 of the heads had been sold by the BRC to Rathburn. 1 out of 9 have been sold to him by the
So
BRC.
he had 9 heads in that.
Yeah,
Whatever the hell he was carrying
but-
heads in that he didn't even get
So
from the
he was-
fucking
he
shady
was-
place. Wow. Okay. So there's an epidemic of
we'll
fucking
get to it.
shady body cutting
There's a lot to
shops
this story,
out
dude.
there.
Way more than I thought from the 2 articles that Chris initially
Goddamn.
sent.
That's super disturbing.
So the FBI agents were eventually able to trace 250 body parts purchased by Rathburn back to Gore and the BRC. Rathburn would buy bodies and body parts from Gore, then he rented and sold them for medical training at conventions and seminars. He also secretly sold body parts from clients he'd been paid to cremate. So that's I'm assuming where the other 9 heads are from, is from he himself is paid to cremate bodies as well.
Right. Which is super illegal to not do when someone says that that's what. I mean, it's all of this is super illegal. I'm no lawyer, but I think stealing body parts. Well, maybe it's not that illegal actually. You know what? I'm no lawyer. I think I prefaced my statement pretty well by saying that, and I'm gonna just leave it at that.
And I'm gonna bring that back to what I said at the beginning, where, like I said before, this type of business is very unregulated still. Like, it's really hard to bring up charges when, like you said, you're not dealing with a living person. You're dealing with a deceased body that you were willingly given.
Like, it's not abuse.
They did say they didn't. Yeah, you don't have their consent for the things you're doing, and it's explicitly written that you don't have consent. That's the real legal issue, is that you're breaking.
And it all comes down to the fucking paperwork.
Yep, pretty much. Other than that, there's no real crime, like you said. Like, they're not. I mean, other than maybe sewing the heads of the bodies to different bodies, that might be desecration.
Yeah, I mean, if it's illegal to gamble on a Sunday with a squirrel in your fucking pants in some places, it should be illegal to put a tiny woman's head on a big fat dude's body.
Yeah. And also, I forgot to put this in earlier, like, into my notes at all, but on the topic of cremation, the BRC and similar facilities are supposed to get back the bodies eventually, cremate them, and then the BRC is supposed to send the cremations back to the people who donated the bodies.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's why people have their loved ones' ashes and such, you know.
Yeah. When these people would get their ashes back, sometimes it would just be a foot, sometimes it'd just be a hand, sometimes it would be something totally different, quote unquote.
Here's a pound of uncut heroin.
It's what one of the employees said. Yeah. When the employees were being questioned, one of them said they would, quote unquote, get something else sometimes.
Wow.
Whatever that is, I don't know. But sometimes people were not even getting their loved ones, so they have an urn filled with ashes of folk.
I was gonna say, like,
something.
maybe the Cheerios that the guy didn't finish for breakfast, or man,
Yeah,
there's so many
exactly.
things you could fill with urn ashes that aren't people, I guess. Goodness.
Yeah, no,
That
this
sounds
is
like the least.
I like this topic a lot.
Was done.
I love this topic.
Yeah, that does kind of sound like the least of the fucked up shit. But at the same time, it's like, wait, we don't have grandma at all, and you did something completely different with her, So we have been having Thanksgiving dinner with whatever the shit you gave us. Don't ask why we keep the urn at the table. It makes the kids feel like grandma's there. Because if they don't say that, we beat them. And you know what? We're just as terrible as you guys are. So carry on. So yeah.
Yeah.
All that.
Okay.
That's how I envision my future.
Well, as a perfect segue from that, Rathburn, this dude, would also knowingly rent and sell diseased body parts purchased by Gore. So he would buy these already diseased, decaying bodies from Gore and then rent and sell them during seminars, therefore spreading diseases inside of these decaying body parts.
The rental part is what really bothers me, is that sure, you can take this severed leg that has, I don't know, typhus. I don't fucking know. But you got to give it back at the end of the day. That
it's going to cost you $50.
Someone is fucking that leg, right?
Eventually, one of these body parts is getting fucked. Like down the line, after being rented so many times, you're getting used goods. You're getting tarnished goods.
It's like a Motel 6 fucking bed cover. Ugh.
Dear Lord, this is extra. I'll just leave it at that.
It's so terrible. It's so terrible. The good news is, though, well, this part isn't good news, but the next part's good news. So Rathburn also used Delta Cargo to ship these body parts, including the diseased ones. And Rathburn, after a trial, was convicted of fraud and shipping hazardous materials. He is currently serving 9 years in federal prison. So that's nice.
What I was actually
guess.
Assuming was going to be like the one saving grace law-wise is that all of this shit is a huge biohazard, and they are obviously not taking care in making them not biohazards.
I was pretty curious what the CDC
like I said,
had
Gore,
to say about
the founder of this thing.
Yeah, that's the one part of the whole thing where they are putting alive people at risk. So I was hopeful.
Yeah. Don't be. So in the case against Gore, in 2015, Gore was sued by 35 plaintiffs from 8 different families.
Jesus, those 8 families had a lot of people die.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming it's like, one family, the son and the daughter, and, like this one lady has like 5 kids and something like that.
And they all died at the same time?
That makes more sense.
Well, no, this was from 2004 to 2014, right. And then when this story broke out, these 35 people from these 8 different families decided to join in the lawsuit against him and actually do something about it.
So they all filed their own claims over the same person in their family.
But you know what? That puts a live human face on this, and you stop seeing them as just meat bags when you see crying granddaughter, snot just dripping out of her face, just going in her mouth, and you're like, wipe your nose, lady. But then you're like, it's okay, she's talking about her dead grandma and how her body was desecrated. It's still like, that snot's going in your mouth and you should do something about it. But I mean, I get the emotion, but maybe dial it back a little,
I think you got off topic of your own topic.
I don't,
or at least use a tissue.
You just completely lost.
I don't know.
It went on to a rant about running noses.
Because I said that part and I was like, that really bothers me. I'm going to have to tell the world about it.
I'm going to say something about it.
Yeah. Please.
No, it's terrible. Like, these people, they had these people in their lives that they grew up with, had Christmas and Thanksgiving at their grandma's every year, and, has had these people and they don't even know if the ashes they have belong to that person.
I hate saying this because my grandpa was a huge part of my positive childhood, and he was an amazing person, and memories are great. But I have maybe this is controversial, but I think it's all worse because you keep saying grandma, and that like just somebody doing that to my mama is like, what? No, man, come on, man. But if like somebody did that to my grandpa, I'd be like, that's messed up, dude. But he was a guy, man. He was in Pearl Harbor. You know, he's tough.
Yeah, but he was a strong. Yeah, he was. My grandpa was in World War II, in Vietnam. He was a tough cookie. He could have took it, alive or dead.
Oh, but yeah.
Well, it's like, oh,
yeah.
Granny.
I was like, but she made me cookies. My grandpa just farted in my face.
My grandpa just gave me firm handshakes. Yeah, and farted
That's
in
right,
my
when
face.
I was a little kid walking behind him into the kitchen one day. Just the worst fart ever, and just right in my mouth. I tasted it, and he acted like nothing happened. And I'm like, no, we are going to talk about this.
Nice.
No, we are gonna have a conversation
Man,
here.
I miss him like crazy, but that was rude, and I wanted him to say so.
Sounds like an opportunist to me.
You know what? I don't feel bad. His body was blown up by the DOD.
Ooh, no, I feel bad about that. So yeah.
Yeah, dude, especially the being strapped on the platform. That one was rough. Dude, because I legit have the lady's picture. I have the lady's picture in my notes.
Any explosive testing is just. I mean, I can understand why it's done, and I can understand why it's done on human cadavers. I don't want to see how the hot dog's made, man. Just give me a tasty hot dog, you know?
But and the biggest thing isn't what they were doing. Like, these are legitimate tests with like legitimate results that will legitimately, help better different things. You know, knowing the effects that explosives have on the body, knowing what IEDs are going to do to your vehicle that you have soldiers
Once
in.
again,
knowing different things like this are good things.
Bringing it back to
these people
to
did not
731
consent
again,
to it.
which I hate doing because I hate revisiting it. But as Chris and I say at the end of that episode, the data that was collected,
it's good data,
is invaluable. You cannot get this elsewhere, and it has probably saved hundreds of thousands of lives from disease and other things, making things safer and all this. That doesn't mean that it's okay whatsoever that was done, and it's the same thing in this situation, except the bodies are not able to scream when they are cut into with I'm guessing a very rusty chainsaw.
Yeah, no, the blood cannot be good for oxidation. But yeah, no, this would not be an issue. You know, these tests would not be an issue if it was consented for this to happen. Because this was, like I said, this was on the consent form that people were given. Right. You know, it said, you know, what do you want and not want done to the body, and you know, these military testing was on there, so someone could very easily consent.
I'll say right
to
now
this,
that
I
would like
and that's
my body to be used for explosive testing. That seems fucking metal as shit.
Dude, that's pretty badass, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but if I'm...
but I want to consent.
Yeah, if I'm like, I don't know, maybe use me for fertilizer for pretty daffodils. And, like, next thing I know,
and then they blow you up.
And then the army's sending dogs to find my pieces
the face.
and shit. And, you know, that's a hard pill to swallow, aside from the fact that you're dead and you can't be swallowing pills no more.
Yeah, and I don't know how gentle these dogs are when they find these dead bodies, especially first off in their training, so I wouldn't be too surprised if like they got a shredded up arm back after that session.
I mean you're dead, so it doesn't matter. It's the live, it's when they're looking for live people. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, you want to get angry?
You know what? I'm already there, so let's just say angrier.
Let me top you off real quick. Because at the end of this trial, Stephen Gore was found guilty.
Mm-hmm.
He was in fact found guilty, but he was sentenced to 1 year deferred jail time, 4 years probation, and had to pay $121,000 in restitutions. Now, just so you know, if all 35 plaintiffs in this case got an equal cut of that $121,000, that's only $3,400 per person.
And he undoubtedly made multitudes more than that in running this business.
This man dealt with the
10
Department of
years.
Defense. All of the figures for those body parts being sold were in the triple digits. Most of them were in the 4-word digit, and they had thousands of these bodies. No, he easily made a couple million, a few million over the
God
years.
Damn.
Not to mention the bodies that weren't found. I mean,
Right.
they found 10 tons of frozen bodies at the time in 2014.
Right,
This place has been open since
Right,
2004.
and the chances that was an accumulative amount of bodies over the 10 years that he had just been saving up is very unlikely.
Yeah, good luck.
Which means that, holy fuck, man.
Yeah, no, this guy got off very easy, and this is controversial for some people.
Oh, shit.
But he got off like I would expect a rich white man in a place dealing with people in positions of power would get off.
That's right.
Extremely lightly. I mean, remember, Rathburn, the guy who was buying from BRC, he was sentenced to 9 years. He's still in prison. Gore never set foot in there.
He was transporting a biological hazard across, country borders, which I guess...
yeah, that's a
He was,
way
and-
different situation.
But
none of this is good, and I hate trying to rationalize it in a way that my mostly rational brain can understand, because that just makes me say, oh no, I can see why that happened, or I
do see where you're
it,
coming from,
but
though,
I don't.
It is egregious.
It's
yeah.
so fucked. It's so fucked up on so many levels. And yes, I can understand why the sentencing for him was light, because people handed their bodies over to him. Now, I think his punishment should have been a much more fucking severe for not him breaking the contract of every fucking person that he had in there, that he didn't do what he said he was going to do with their body, should have carried a harsher sentence. But
yeah, it should have been a cumulative charge.
Indeed. But how would you even know if any? I doubt he kept squeaky clean records of every cadaver to make its way through his little shop of horrors. But
no, like I said, these body parts were stacked up in unmarked bins. Like, there was literally no way for the FBI agents that raided the place to tell what body parts belonged to what human being. Like, it was impossible to tell what leg went where and what torso belonged to who.
Talking
and,
about the
whose
poor
family members was there.
Talking about the poor army guy that had to clean up after the explosion testing. Poor FBI guy that
like
had
you said,
to
they're the
get
slow
all
ones,
the legs and stuff out and be like, maybe this one goes with that one. Like,
yeah, and they got counted.
Oh, Jesus.
Everything got counted.
Cataloged. And
They had to one by one leg, 2 leg, 1 penis, 2 penis, 3
That's
penis.
fucking crazy.
like, hey,
And you can't
yeah.
unsee that
I-
shit.
hey, I quit. I can't come in tomorrow and count penises out of this fridge anymore. This is not what I wanted to do with my career. So thank you for the opportunity, but I think I will be calling McDonald's back, because they said eventually I could maybe be a manager, but at least I don't have to deal with just a fridge full of peni all day. And you know what? Fuck McDonald's. I'm just gonna kill myself when I get home.
Or
Years
you
of
could
therapy.
apply for the Illinois branch of the BRC.
There's another BRC.
So there's
Oh,
several.
Jesus.
Here's what I have.
Oh my god.
This is a copy and paste from one of the websites. More disturbingly, it appears that the FBI may only be scratching the surface of an illegal industry in which this chop shop operated. The Arizona Center has a counterpart in Illinois, where hundreds of additional family members have fallen victim to a similar quote-unquote body part brokering scheme by a company under the same name, Biological Resource Center, the BRC. According to a 2017 in-depth Reuters investigation, The Illinois branch operated independently from the center in Arizona, but they still did business together. BRC Illinois received at least 658 body parts from BRC
Wow.
Arizona. It has also been since shut down for the same reason, and it received its own raid, but unfortunately not many details of the inner workings have been released for the Illinois location yet. That ending part was made.
Jesus.
So yeah, so we know there's another branch. We know it also got raided. We know it did do business with the Arizona branch.
Is the BRC
not much
like, did this guy franchise it out and start his own little place, and just with the name on the outside of the building, or did he start the BRC?
You know, it was a little worrying how little research I could find on this place, and how very little research I could find on Stephen Gore himself. Like, typing in Stephen Gore, the only things that pop up are like 2018 articles about, you know, when the FBI agents actually started giving most of this information.
Wow.
Because before, like, a year ago, we didn't even know most of this. It was just recently that some of the FBI agents in the raid started talking about it and gave more information on it.
Jesus.
So, like, Stephen Gore, I could not find anything about him outside of the information I've given you here. I couldn't find anything about the Illinois branch. I couldn't find anything about, like, any of this. It's very bare bones as far as information.
And see, that's I mean, that is also, I'm sure, ongoing investigations where they can't let too much out yet. But
it's still like
but
classified
holy shit,
information.
do we know enough to know that that maybe
This is a thing.
you should look in as closely as you possibly can if you plan on donating parts or anything after your death. You should really research the place that you choose to take it, and ask for a tour. Be like, we don't have to see the bodies, but I want to make sure that all of your fridges are free of penises, please.
No penises on the property, please.
Fuck.
But yeah, no, like I said, dude, so they believe they're scratching the surface of a body part brokering scheme. Like, even if all these BRCs are connected, like, by one owner and all that, statistically, there is no way they are the only people involved in stuff like this.
Right, because if it was
There
so
is
easy
no
to
way.
do, unfortunately, that means that many others are also doing it.
This guy didn't even need medical training or experience of any kind. He has nothing to his name that says medical. He was an insurance agent in Florida, and he was able to do this.
Jesus Christ.
And it didn't take long, because I couldn't find the information again, but I believe at one point 2006 was mentioned as, like, the first time they could find record of something illegal going on.
God damn.
So assumedly, for 2 years, it was legit to an extent, and then
he was like, I'm not
couldn't find the
enough
information
money
again.
for this.
Yeah, he was like, you know what, the U.S. military pays a lot more than fucking St. Jude's Hospital.
God damn, man, that is insanity.
So this is a thing. Body brokering is a thing, and it is out there. So if any of you listening, are unfortunately going through someone passing, make sure their body is going to the right place. Because that is
right.
obviously not always the
Right.
case.
Make sure it's going to Tucson, Arizona.
Or just
Phoenix.
directly to the DOD, so at least you know.
Wait, what was that, Chris?
What was up, buddy? You're cutting out a little bit.
Whoop. No,
I said,
try again.
Or at least directly to
There
the
you go.
DOD, so at least you know it's going to them.
Yeah, indeed. I think that's
Yeah.
actually probably your safest course of action, is just being like, hey, military, how would you like this sexy slab of man meat after I'm not in it anymore?
Y'all want this?
You just slap
I don't
your
want
own
it no
ass.
more.
Tenderizing.
And yeah, so that is all the information that I have on the BRC. That is
Wow.
my report.
And one more time, what does BRC stand for?
the Biological Resource Center.
It's so vague. It is so vague that
Yeah,
it's
isn't it?
it's man. Ah.
So vague yet so official sounding.
Yeah.
Biological
And that
Resource
is
Center.
how people.
Like it.
That's how places get away with things. That's how people get away with things. Is you and you know, he could say, "What do you mean?" I mean, it's in our name right there. We're the Biological Resource Center. That's where you get your resources for your
provide biological
fucking
resources.
you know, and that's what's so scary
So
about it is you
fucking
don't.
awful.
Fuck, man, it's in plain
That is
English in
goddamn
front of your
insane.
face, and at the same time, you have no fucking clue what it says or means or what it's about.
Dude, how could you ever like imagine that your loved one is gonna have her head chopped off and put onto the body of a very obese man, like, or that, you know, your uncle's dick is gonna be cut off and tossed into a freezer?
I mean, I try not
God
to
knows
imagine,
because I couldn't find any info
Yeah, I
on
try
that.
not to imagine my uncle's dick
Like-
at all. So,
You don't?
I mean,
Come on, guys. Am I alone here? Am I alone?
I mean,
here?
I'm sure you're not. I think maybe on this conference call you might be.
Just in this
That's
room.
right. Oh, hey, you know what happened is Chris got hung up on. Hold on, he's coming back in. Hold on, just don't do nothing. Hey,
Oh, no.
Chris, I was wondering why it was so nice
I
and
can't
quiet.
believe I have signal right now.
I can't believe it
I'm in
was
the
so,
dead zone.
it was so nice and quiet for a second there.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't notice you got hung up on.
I didn't hang up on
I
him.
didn't.
He got a dead zone. But as James was saying, that's what he's got, and that's all, folks. You know,
Rebuttal.
Porky Pig, pantsless, stuttering in your face
Word.
like some kind of jackass.
Like some kind of jackass.
So knowing all that we know now about this illicit trade in human organs and parts and meat and such, Chris, what do you plan to donate, and to which branch of science and or military use?
Oh shit, that is a really good question.
And legally
Oh,
binding,
yeah.
so think about it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Supposedly legally binding.
Maybe I want to be pressed into a black diamond. That sounds cool.
Man, that does sound cool.
You want to be pressed into a black guy? What was
Black diamond.
Man, I was just gonna make the
Be a
joke.
really small black guy.
I was gonna make the joke that I would finally get a Prince Albert just so I could have the Chris diamond on it. But man, James, yours was way better. James, same question. Who is your daddy and what does he do? That's
Huh?
not. I mean, that's
I don't know.
man. You and
I
I.
don't know if I want to release this
We have
information.
got.
I don't even know about my daddy.
We've got to have like a movie night once a week where I can just show you stupid old movies so that you'll get references that Chris giggles at.
We'll do it, and you know what? We can do a couch podcast where we do commentary over the movie.
No, we could do a couch podcast where it's about couches.
Well, y'all are gonna have to do
I
that
like
shit
that too, dude.
on your own.
The history
Hey, Chris, we're still gonna do the WeCast next time
of
we're
the
down there.
couch. No, it's called the Tool Pod.
Oh,
So
one thing I
Yes.
forgot to
Yes,
mention, by the way, in researching this, I also could not find any information on Stephen Gore or his doings after the trial in 2015. After he was sentenced to 4 years probation, which is now been up because it
he's a
was
free man.
he was sentenced in 2015. Yeah, no, he is off probation. He is 100% free, and I cannot find a single thing about him.
wow.
I have no idea what he's been up to for the past 4 years. I have no idea if he started another business.
I just always assume
no information about
I always
him either.
assume legal name change, and that's it. That's why we can't figure it out or anything. He just changes
because-
fucking.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Just
He's-
appeared.
It's because the
He's
white
now
man
a Timmy
blends
Turner.
in.
Mm-hmm. So, my
very
my whole my body thing that I'm gonna donate to is I'm gonna donate my bright disposition and my winning personality to just whoever, just a less fortunate, or you know what, give it to a rich guy. They can probably use it as well. And but the rest of me best be used for some target practice with rocket propelled grenades to make.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna donate myself to the military.
Yeah, I want to make the newest Call of Duty game the most realistic one possible.
I like
Gross.
it. I like it. You know what? That's a good cause, and I will buy a copy of that game in your honor, in your memory.
And you'll be like, hey, I recognize that pinky finger that just flew off that guy.
I remember the jitter of that corpse. That's old Jason.
Like a bowl full
I'm
of
gonna
jelly.
glaze over it just for the sake of the show. But after that, I'm done.
All right.
Your dad, that's enough of that.
So, everyone out there in listening, you know what? I'm leaving it there because I was gonna say like land, but that's been said before.
Or traffic.
Yeah, or you know what?
Or on the toilet.
Or standing there making toast on a Wednesday, and I will now.
That's right.
I will add the additional caveat: if you just think that you smell toast on a Wednesday, you might be having a stroke, or someone in your house might be making toast. So you can listen then.
And listening to this show.
But for everyone here at home base, which is in 3 different places, I would like to say you've just listened to another James's head on Jason's torso on Chris's wonderful sexy legs episode of See No, Hear No, Speak No.
The UFOs, the conspiracies, no Midas, but lots of icky
James.
bodies. And James, whenever he decides to.
And I'm James.
And he's James.
I said it a little too early. I said it like in the middle of your thing. I was like,
I
okay, you
thought
done now?
that's what that was.
So did I. It was
Being
either
all
that.
early and
or a
then just
mouse.
leaving it flat.
Yep.
That's okay. It's okay.
I was a little quiet with it too.
Hey guys.
But yeah, I hoped you guys liked my
Oh,
episode.
I did. Very,
Hope I
very
did
much
okay.
so. I do have one more thing to add, and that is count down. 3, 2, 1.
I just
Protect
died
the
in
dear.
your arms tonight. It must have been some kind of kiss. I should have walked away. I should have walked away.